As a Jew, what is my race? For a while now, I've struggled with my identity as someone who is Jewish. While I recognize that the distress that has come from this is minuscule compared to the stress of others with their identities, I think it's still worth talking about. Most of my life, I just assumed that I was simply white. This is true to an extent. I have white skin. I benefit from white privilege. However, we cannot ignore that there is also a significant amount of nuance to the situation. The Jewish people have not always been considered white throughout American history, and even before that, we were seen as lesser people by much of the world. Jew hatred dates all the way back to the 3rd century BCE in Alexandria, Egypt. One could even look to the Roman Empire, where their invasions and destruction of Jerusalem led many Jews to flee the area.
Centuries of persecution led to what is known today as the diaspora, a shuffling of Jews around the world from what is today known as Israel and Palestine. This has led to something truly unique, where there are Jews of countless different ethnic backgrounds. While in the Western world, Jewish people are seen as European and white, this is only one side of the story. There are Jews from India, Iran, Uganda, Morocco, just to name a few. However, this has not stopped us from being vilified, from being boxed in, from being stereotyped.
And I have been able to process this by looking to another group that has been discriminated against, African Americans.
A similarity in how Jews and African Americans have been persecuted is through the use of stereotypes. For example, a common anti-Semitic depiction is a Jew with a long, hooked nose. According to art historian Sarah Lipton, the first instance of this stereotype dates all the way back to 1233. Jews are often also categorized as greedy and untrustworthy. For African Americans, stereotypes include using blackface, which uses exaggerated features such as the lips. African Americans are also stereotyped to be lazy and that they even eat a lot of watermelon. Both Jews and African Americans have been both subjugated to discrimination of physical and non-physical features. But these commonalities go much deeper.
Another similarity I've seen between the persecution of Jews and African Americans has been in the way we have both been deemed impure. A prime example of this was seen during the Holocaust. One can look at the Nuremberg race laws ratified by Nazi Germany, which prohibited Jews from having sexual relations with those deemed Aryan. Those laws also deemed that having at least one Jewish grandparent made you impure and your citizenship was revoked. This is akin to the 3/5 Compromise of 1787, where African Americans were ruled to only be 3/5 of a person. So, this goes to show that Jews have been racialized in a very similar way to African Americans.
I'm telling you this history because while it's not mine, it's the story of me and everyone who's come before. So, today in America, Jews are able to assimilate, right? Well, despite being 2% of the American population, Jews are still at the receiving end of more than half of all religious hate crimes in America. I've had to report swastikas in middle school and high school. I was also affected by the 23andMe security breach, where the ancestry data of me and other Ashkenazi Jews were taken from the website. So, am I white? Do I have the luxury to say that I am? I don't really think there's an answer. But that's okay. Any one of us, no matter what background we come from, we can break out of the mold that society keeps us in.